Well, hello you beautiful people. I'm back with another quarantine vlog. It's the 6th day of quarantine, although it's just the beginning of the 6th day because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, my sleep cycle. I managed to last night sleep through the night, and then in the morning I was just still tired again, so I slept through the day. It's a bad idea. I know you're supposed to push through to beat the jet lag, but the issue is that if I were not in quarantine, I'd be able to go for a walk and do things and keep myself stimulated to stay awake. But the fact that I'm in here is things have become like an eternal mix of day, night. It's become this odd. It's like that French guy who I forget his name. If anyone knows, put it in the comments. But there was a French guy, I think, who went into an underground cave with no light or communication with the outside world for, I think, several months maybe. And he just lost all sense of sort of night and day. And I've had the curtains closed most of the time. Probably not a good idea. So yeah, it's things have become a bit odd. But I've got into a rhythm. So before I was finding it a bit tricky mentally, but now I think it's going to be more difficult to come out because I've got into this odd kind of flow in here, you know. I'll put the PS4 on. I just downloaded a new game called Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a recommendation of my friend Sergey. And I used to have a PS1, and then I had a PS2 for a bit, but there was a gap in when I was using the PS. I had other things to do, and it just surprises me every time, the jump, how crazy good the graphics get. Yeah, it's very enthralling. So I'll be playing that a bit later on. This is the story, I'm having whiskey and coke. Now, if you watched the last video, you'll know that I didn't have any alcohol in here. And I'd ordered out for some alcohol. I got some ale and some whiskey, and it had been rejected as it was coming into the hotel. I got in touch with my friend Sergey, because he wasn't working and my other friends were. And he had a bit of a cold and didn't really want to go outside the house, but in the end, he was going to use a delivery service, and it ended up with him coming out anyway. He said he felt okay and wanted to get out and about. But essentially, what happened, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to insert the video here, is that his lovely girlfriend Olia and Sergey, they went out and they bought me a large bottle of Ballantines, and 2 large bottles of Coke, and in fact, it got a bit too diluted, really, because there were two small bottles of Coke. But thank you, Sergey, because it was in good faith. They wanted to not make it too strong, although I'm a virtual alcoholic, so it would have been fine if it was really strong. So they got these bottles of Coke, and they sort of half-emptied some of them, and then used a funnel to fill them up with whiskey. And then in a step that made me laugh my socks off, just reaffirmed the fact that Sergey and Olia are such great friends. They used a lighter to kind of seal the bottle shut again, which I think was probably unnecessary, but so cool. And you'll hear in the video that I insert that Olia, it made my day. She said or in her Russian accent, she said "Breaking Bad" as they were doing that.
Чуть-чуть еще. Да? Угу. Да, идеально. Меня не записывай.
Breaking Bad.
So I actually made myself a bit too, not sick, but I made myself feel kind of sick last night because, unfortunately, to get drunk, not that it's a good thing to just get drunk in quarantine, but to get drunk you have to drink quite a lot of this, and drinking a lot of this equals drinking a lot of Coca-Cola, but there you go. I'm only going to have a couple of glasses tonight. What else can I tell you? Oh, there's another regulation that I'm not going to tell you if I'm complying with or not, but it's a funny one. And it's in the instruction manual. And basically, when I arrived in the lobby, I forgot to include this in the last video. When I arrived in the lobby, and we were checked into our rooms and given our room cards and that sort of thing, filled out the paperwork, they gave us this bucket. And I didn't really find out until the end what it was for, but I was just looking down at this bucket as we were being checked in, thinking all the time, what on earth is that for? Everyone had one next to their seats. It turns out that these are... Let's see. Just looking on my iPad screen to see if I've got this in the frame right. Yeah. It's like a chlorine disinfectant tablet. And obviously once I learned that, I still wasn't quite sure what it was for, but it turns out that there's a ratio of mixing water to chlorine tablet. And depending on the type of visit you make to the toilet, you're supposed to put this down the toilet before flushing and leave it for a certain amount of time. Just so you know how strict and crazy the quarantine is. Otherwise, the meals have been fine. I've started to see a pattern now. You know, like it's in a tray, like a meal tray. And sometimes in the very central piece, it will have kimchi one day. Another day, it will have some like pickled vegetables. Another day, it will have baked beans. Weirdly enough, I didn't really. I've lived in China before, but I didn't realize they were so much a thing here. Cheers. And there'll be some sort of veg, some rice, some sort of meat, and often some sort of fish or prawns. And things have started to sort of, I've noticed just a cycle now. So, but it's still good to get 3 meals a day. It gives the day a bit of structure. It's so sad, I realise, but I've now started sort of counting the hours and half hours until a meal arrives. And I've got friends and family messaging me all the time, so I'll often say to them, oh, the meal's here in 2.5 hours. Sounds silly, but honestly, until you've experienced what is essentially 14 days isolation, because you're not allowed to just go out in a yard and have an hour interaction with anyone. You're completely on your own here. And also, having social media and messaging platforms, it's not quite the same, actually. It's just not. You know, as looking somebody in the eye and having a sort of a warm interaction, that sort of thing. I think any more than 14 days would be tough. But as I say, this is the 6th day, the very early morning of the 6th day, and things are going okay. But I will say goodbye for now, and I might fit an extra vlog in, depending on what there is to vlog about, really, because things are very much of a muchness in here. I may do a vlog about the meals, like a day of meals, show you what we're being given to eat in here, if that's of interest. Probably not of interest to anyone, but it keeps me ticking over, you know. So cheers. Over and out. See you later. Oh, this game is going to be great, I know it. Thanks for the recommendation, Sergey.